Good evening and welcome to the June 21st, 2021 regular meeting of the Mayor and City Council. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask Councilmember Wu to lead us in the pledge tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Rob. Next, we will go into reflection, and I hope everyone had a wonderful Father's Day. And if we can all have a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is approval of minutes. Tonight we have two sets of minutes. The first is from the regular session on Monday, May 3rd. What is the pleasure of the council? Ryan.
So moved. For approval.
Lorianne.
Second.
Okay, I will call the roll. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. And Neil, just a note, you were absent for that meeting. Councilmember Spiegel.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Abstain.
Councilmember Sesma. Council Vice President Sesma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sales.
Aye.
And Councilmember Wu.
Aye.
All right, so that carries 4-0 with one abstention being Councilmember Harris. And next we have the minutes from Monday, May 24th work session. What is the pleasure of the council? Neil.
Move approval of the minutes of the work session of Monday, May 24th.
Okay, Mike.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I will call the roll. Councilmember Spiegel.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Council Vice President Sesma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sales.
Aye.
And Councilmember Wu.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. That carries 5-0. Next, we have appointments. And my computer just, okay. All right, locked up on me for a second there, but I'm back. So we have three, looks like three reappointments. What is the pleasure of the council? Neil, please.
I move the resolution affirming your reappointments to the Community Advisory, Educational Enrichment, and Police Advisory Committees. For the Community Advisory Committee for a 2-year term ending June 2023 of Barbara Harbison. The Educational Enrichment Committee, a 2-year term ending June of 2023 for James Simpson. And the Police Advisory Committee, term ending June of 2023 for Andrew Bove.
Okay, Mike.
I'll second the reappointments.
Okay, I'll call the roll. Councilmember Spiegel.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Council Vice President Sesma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sales.
Aye.
And Councilmember Wu.
Aye.
All right, carries unanimously. And we will thank everybody when we see them. Again, as we always say, getting involved in our committees is a wonderful way to learn how things work in the city and provide meaningful input to the mayor and council. So we encourage everybody watching to take a look at our committees and see if anything's of interest. Next on our agenda is presentations. And the first one I would like to, the first one we have is the handing over of the torch for junior mayor. And we came into City Hall, into the chamber, which none of us had been in quite some time, and taped something last week. And so the tech team has a video to play for all of us. Tech team, go right ahead. Hey everyone, I'm Judd Ashman, mayor of the greatest city in the world, Gaithersburg, Maryland. And in this, the strangest of years, we have the most unusual of our passing of the torch of our junior mayors. With me today are Hayden Sandlin, our current junior mayor, and Abir Day, who is coming in to become our next junior mayor. And so we're going to go through a little process here where we let them introduce themselves and make a couple statements, and we're going to swear in Abir and have a great time. Let's talk with Abir first. Abir is a 4th grader over at Rachel Carson Elementary School, only for a couple more weeks, right? It's almost over?
It's gonna get over tomorrow.
Oh, actually a few more hours. Okay. So Abir, as of tomorrow, Abir will be a rising 5th grader at Rachel Carson. Before we go any further, I want to swear you in, okay? And this is the first time that we've done an actual swearing in for our junior mayor, so the pressure's on. We want to make sure it's perfect. If anything doesn't go right, then you don't get to be junior mayor. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Okay, so what I want you to do, Abir, is raise your right hand. Just look at me. You could just follow what I'm saying, and I'll lead you through this. Okay, so and then state your name.
I, Abir Day,
Do promise
do promise
to faithfully carry out the office,
to faithfully carry out the office
well done, of junior mayor
of junior mayor
of the greatest city in the world, Gaithersburg, Maryland.
of the greatest city in the world, Gaithersburg, Maryland,
Like how you said that. And I will,
and I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and embody,
preserve, protect, and embody
excellent, the 6 pillars of character counts:
the 6 pillars of character counts:
trustworthiness,
trustworthiness,
respect,
respect,
responsibility,
responsibility,
fairness,
fairness,
caring,
caring,
and citizenship.
and citizenship.
I promise to help
I promise to help
educate those in my community
educate those in my community
about municipal government, about municipal government. Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a sec. And work alongside
and work alongside
our elected officials,
our elected officials,
teachers,
teachers,
my classmates,
my classmates,
in the community
and the community
to make our city
to make our city
a better place.
a better
Go ahead.
place
To live, work, learn, and play.
to live, work, learn, and play.
All right, congratulations. Well done. Municipal is just another fancy word for city. So for you, Abir, now that you're our new junior mayor, we have our little nameplate, which you can wear this badge with when you come out with us to events and show everybody who you are. And if you don't lose it, you can probably wear it at school and see if people will call you mayor at school. But don't push that too hard. Don't push that too hard. So anyway, the way Abir got here and the way Hayden got here before was every year there's an essay contest. It's if I were mayor, and then there's a prompt. And so there 4th graders from across the city enter this contest. So there's a lot of essays that are judged, and first Hayden's was chosen, and now Abir's was chosen for this year. And we want to give Abir a chance to read his essay for everybody today. So Abir, let's hear it.
Hello everyone, my name is Abir Day, and I'm a 4th grade student of Rachel Carson Elementary School. I'm honored to be selected as a junior mayor of Gaithersburg for this year. The topic for my essay was bullying in schools, and I chose this topic as I think it's a very important issue, and I suggested some measures to help address this issue. Bullying in schools is a very serious problem, and it causes a lot of distress for students. Hence, I want to solve this issue by implementing a few measures such as increasing the number of teachers at the playground during recess to be more vigilant and intervene quickly if they see someone getting bullied. I would also recommend schools to set up cameras around the school premises, which are blind spots and may lead to bullying activities. There should be a station at the playground where kids can go and report their grievance if they are being bullied. The station should always have a teacher present who can listen to the students and help them. The teachers should also talk to the kids who are bullying and try to find out about their behavior to their parents if necessary. In conclusion, I think that implementing these measures would help to solve the issue of bullying and make all the students very comfortable and relaxed in schools, which in turn would help them focus on their studies. As a junior mayor, I would like to help you bring a stop to this issue and make our schools a better place. Thank you.
Fantastic. Give him a round of applause. I guarantee you, if this was a regular council meeting and we weren't during the pandemic, everybody would have clapped. It would have been awesome. But just know that everyone watching on the camera, they love it. So great job, Abir, and I think you're going to have a wonderful time as our new junior mayor. Now, I want to talk to Hayden Sandlin for a couple minutes here because I've thought about you a lot this year. This is, junior mayor usually entails a lot more opportunities for you to come to events with us and be out in public. And there's only been a few. They were fun, but it's just, I wish there were more opportunities. How has your experience been? And if that's in your essay, I don't want to spoil your essay. I'll let you read your statement if you like. But what would you like to tell us, Hayden?
Well, every experience so far has been amazing, and I'm glad I even got the opportunity to go to these events, because in the future there might be people who are more unfortunate. But I just really enjoy the fact that we made the most of what we could do, and honestly, despite the circumstances that surround us, we've still had a good time, and we've done a lot of good things.
That's right, and you've been amazing. You have participated with us virtually in events, and when you've been with us in person, it's been great. So I hope you've enjoyed it, because we've really enjoyed we've been proud of you to beyond words, really.
Thank you.
So I want to give you a chance to make some parting remarks.
Mr. Mayor, Gaithersburg City Council members, friends and family, Gaithersburg residents, and especially my extraordinary coordinator, Miss Payne, thank you for being by my side and doing your best throughout these challenging times. I cannot describe how thankful I am for your support and encouragement, because this year has been tough for everyone. Whether it be from loneliness during quarantine, financial troubles, difficulty with the new school platform, or a multitude of other hardships, we have persevered. We've made it so far through a period of time unlike any other, and that is an accomplishment which should be celebrated. Even if I'm relatively new to the Gaithersburg community, I've become incredibly inspired and educated by the impact that local government has on our everyday lives during my term. Our families, businesses, and community depend on the local government. I've seen what it means to have responsible leadership and a community that cares about its surroundings. And during this term, there have been plenty of funny moments, like the time when I was on a Zoom meeting with Santa, and we were doing several takes because his beard wasn't in the right position, or his hat was looking a bit strange. Or the time when I opened Discovery Park, and people laughed and celebrated and were happy that there was a giant new area to explore and make memories at. There are also a lot of new things that I learned about Earth resources and conservation, such as the nitty-gritty details of solar energy and how Bangladeshi people use it, the fact that you can eat black seaweed right after plucking it from the ocean, and the many alternatives to creating sustainable energy. Additionally, I'd like to give some words of advice to the incoming junior mayor and the future generations of junior mayors to come. Don't give up. As trivial as it may seem, not giving up and always holding on to that bit of hope that you have is one of the most important and useful things that you can do. When you give up, you surrender yourself to the thoughts that tell you that you cannot do something, and those thoughts can be wrong most of the time. When the applications for the junior mayor position rose last year, I didn't think much of my abilities. I genuinely didn't think I would become the junior mayor, but I still had some hope that I could at least be considered. That little fragment of hope that I held onto led me a long way. And if you decide to hold on to yours as well, you'll go places. Lastly, but not least, I'd like to give another giant thank you to those that believed in me and what I could do. Without your uplifting words and motivation, I couldn't have come as far as I have today. This term has truly been awesome and exciting, despite all of the unfortunate circumstances that surround us and many others. From the bottom of my heart and much more, thank you and goodbye.
Hayden, That was fantastic. Give him a round of applause. That was beautiful. So we actually have a parting gift for you. It is a plaque with a gavel on it, because mayors get to have gavels, and so you always have this to remind you of your junior mayorship until one day when you're actually like a senior mayor. Well, you know, get to be a real mayor. So here you go. I hope you enjoy, and I hope it always reminds you of Gaithersburg and this experience.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So I think those were really amazing, wise words. These are two extraordinary young gentlemen, and Abir, you're gonna have a great time. Hayden, you've done a terrific job, and you both give me a lot of wonderful hope and confidence in what the future of our city is gonna be. So thank you guys so much.
I'll tell you what, we don't, you know, the council members and staff don't agree on everything, but I bet if you asked everybody like what junior mayor, that program means to us, it's so meaningful. It's such an awesome, outstanding program, and they are wonderful kids. And I hope Abir enjoys it, and I hope we see a lot of both of them in the future. So with that, we have a new junior mayor. Congratulations. And can't wait to see him at an event sometime soon when we get back to events, which isn't that far away. In the meantime, we're going to move to our next agenda item, which is our Employee Recognition Awards. And I will turn it over to Tanisha.
Thank you, Mayor. That was terrific. Wow. I think I may try to poach the junior mayors and encourage them to pursue city management, because we could use them. I am thrilled, as always, to be able to present a sampling of our fantastic staff that serve this wonderful city of Gaithersburg. I get to present the 2021 first quarter Employee Recognition Awards, which is January 1 through March 31. And I would like to start with congratulations to Mayor Gel Moore and the Community Services team. They are the winners for the first quarter. They were nominated by their peers, and final selections were made by the Employee Recognition Committee, which is comprised of employees from each city department, and we want to thank them for what they do. So I'll tell you a little bit about Mary Jo first. She is an administrative assistant. She was nominated for providing consistent, friendly, and helpful service. Mary Jo serves as the first welcoming face and first welcoming voice to visitors and callers to City Hall as our main receptionist. Her job was made more challenging by the pandemic, as access to City Hall was by appointment only until most recently. Despite dealing with an increase in phone calls and the need to coordinate a multitude of requests, often with no advance notice, customer service is still her top priority. She is professional, courteous, and provides excellent service to everyone she encounters. And the community services team, which is comprised of Britta Monaco, Maureen Herndon, Tawana Lofton, Carla Contreras, and Geraldine Bernardo, a small but mighty team, was nominated for their commitment and ongoing service to our community's most vulnerable individuals. This small group worked tirelessly throughout the pandemic to provide assistance and coordinate resources for critical needs, including COVID-19 testing, foods, funds, and more. The team has also taken the lead on promoting and coordinating COVID-19 vaccinations through collaborations with the state, county, and also nonprofit providers. And although the team is small in number, they make an extraordinary impact on the community they serve and are constantly looking for ways to leverage their service and their work with the work of others so that we can serve more. We thank Mayor Jo and the community services team for all they do to help us maintain our status as the greatest city in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanisha, and congratulations to the winners. I could not agree more. both Mary Shell and the community services team are amazing, awesome, outstanding employees.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
we do have slides for both the employee and the team. If we can just show.
Oh, tech team, please put them up for a minute. Yeah, there's Mary Shell.
And the
let's-
team.
Yeah, let's see the community services team. There they are. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, tech team.
Great team.
So next item on our agenda is public comments. This is the time when the mayor and council like to hear from anybody who'd like to talk about any city-related topic that is not a public hearing tonight. And we do have one public hearing about elections and about the role of election judges and poll watchers. So if you're here to speak about that, then just hold off. We'll get to that. But if you'd like to speak on any other topic, you can use this. I would normally ask the tech team to play the video here, but I only see a couple of people from the public in the attendees tonight. If you'd like to speak, just use the Zoom raise hand button and I'll call on you. And I see one hand. Tech team, if you could bring up Dave Bellegarde, please. Dave, you know the deal, you know the rules. State your name, address, or neighborhood and go right ahead.
Absolutely. Dave Bellegarde, Washingtonian Woods. As always, thank you for the opportunity to speak, Mr. Mayor and council members. Just one really quick thing I saw the other day in the article indicating that the 4th of July fireworks are being moved until Labor Day. And I had a thought that I wanted to put forth in front of the council. Since there may be time still to do something with this, has the council and the city considered replacing actual fireworks with a drone light display? This is being done more and more. They're very beautiful and very energetic, and they are far more environmentally friendly. So I just wanted to put that in front of the council. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Are there any other speakers? If so, please just use the Zoom raise hand function. Going once, going twice. Okay. So whether we use the form and nature of our special events is not something that generally the mayor and council get involved in. Those are operational matters. So Tanisha, perhaps you can address this, or we can refer Dave to the Parks, Recreation, and Culture team to get a response from them. Tanisha, how would you like to handle it?
I'm happy to follow up with Dave offline. We have been in email contact. So Dave, I'll reach out to you and we can discuss your ideas some more.
Great. Thank you, Tanisha. Okay, well then that concludes public comments. We will move on to public hearings, and Lynn Board is going to lead us in our elections discussion. Lynn.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This evening before you is we're having a public hearing on an ordinance to amend section 6C30 of the city code. This is the provisions of the code dealing with the election. This particular provision deals with poll watchers, and the amendment would allow the chief judge at any polling place to remove a poll watcher if that poll watcher is being disruptive to the proceedings. Previously, it required a majority of the election judges present. The Board of Supervisors of Elections has recommended this particular amendment to the code because, during polling, they felt that it was disruptive to gather the election judges together, deliberate whether poll watchers should be removed or not be removed, and that would cause them to have to, stop voting for people who are currently in attendance at the polling site. Just by a little bit of historic background, at least through the past 6 elections, there has never been a poll watcher ejected from a polling place. So this is not a provision that has been used, but certainly could be if someone was disruptive enough to disrupt polling or voting in the polling places. I know that we did receive one public comment today via email. And that will be included as part of the record. I think Doris sent it to you earlier today. If there is a concern, we could amend some of the language in section 6C30A, where it currently provides that that the presence of a poll watcher in a polling place before the site opens will prevent the timely opening of the polling site. The judge, currently it's judges, we're proposing to be judge, may direct all poll watchers to leave the polling site. There's a suggestion that instead of saying all poll watchers, it would direct a poll watcher to leave the polling site, to make it clear that only if there are multiple poll watchers in the site, that it would only be the one who's being disruptive that would be asked to leave the site. And with that, I'm here to answer any questions, and certainly are waiting to hear any public comments on this issue.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Questions, comments before we go to the public? Lori Ann Sales, please, and then Mike.
Thank you, sir. So we've always had poll watchers in the past, and so to eliminate poll watchers seems a bit not only unexpected, but is it necessary to eliminate them, or do we want to limit maybe their hours of operation or frequency, or is there some sort of middle ground that we can find?
Yeah, I want to make it clear that this is not a proposal to eliminate poll watchers in any way. The city code, and both by operations, we have encouraged poll watchers to be in the polling site, but we've always had language in the code that would allow for the removal of a poll watcher if they're being disruptive or if they're violating rules. So this would only apply that, for example, if a poll watcher were going up to voters and advocating for a particular candidate, it would give the authority to the chief judge to remove that poll watcher from the site.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lori Ann. We'll go to Mike.
Thanks, Judge. So Lynn, is each site has how many judges? Just one or multiple judges?
There are all of the workers at the site are considered election judges,
Okay.
But there is one designated chief judge at the site.
Okay.
I would say each site, because in the past we've had multiple sites. This year we will only have one site.
Right. So anyone who is working at the polls as a judge can ask the chief judge to make this decision, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. That's it. Clarified it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Any other questions or comments before we go to the public? Not seeing any. Okay. Well, this is the time the mayor and council would like to hear from anybody in the public who'd like to speak on this public hearing topic. We ask you state your name and address or neighborhood. Keep your comments to no more than 3 minutes. And if you have more than 3 minutes worth of material to deliver, you can always send it to us in writing. It'll be considered just the same. Do we have anybody who'd like to speak tonight on this topic?
Mr. Mayor, we already have Joyce Aubrey brought forward. I know she did want to speak.
Okay, well, given that Joyce is on the board of supervisors, I was considering her separate from just members of the public, but Joyce, I don't see anybody from the public who's looking to make a statement anyway. Joyce, please go ahead and say what you'd like.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to reassure the woman that sent the email that the judges are trained before the election, and we would never put out a poll watcher unless they were really causing trouble, because we want to encourage them to be there to witness the election. That's it.
Okay, fair enough. So if Lynn, if in your judgment, the language is not clear enough, or if for any of the lawyers on the council, if the language is unclear at all here, I would support clarifying the language, with keeping the same intent. The intent seems reasonable to me. Lynn, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it is a good idea to make that one clarification that the chief judge would be able to exclude the one poll watcher who's being disruptive, not all poll watchers.
Fair enough.
So we'll make that change before this comes back for final action by the mayor and council. And I do, unless there are other questions, want to recommend holding the record open until 5 p.m. on July 1st of 2021 with anticipated policy discussion on July 19th of 2021.
Okay, we will get to that. I see Rob Wu's hand. Rob, please go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor. Just one question, Lynn. I apologize for not jumping down this rabbit hole earlier, but is the mechanism, should a poll watcher be ejected by a poll judge from the site, is it basically circuit court, or are there other mechanisms to challenge that decision?
It is appealable to the full Board of Supervisors of Elections, and then that decision would be appealable to circuit court.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, well, Lynn has specified the recommendation on the record. Keep being open until 5 p.m. on July 1st with anticipated policy discussion on July 19th. What's the pleasure of the council?
So moved.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Mike?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. I will call the roll. Councilmember Spiegel.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Councilmember Sesma.
Aye.
Council Vice President Sesma. I'm so bad at this.
Both of us say aye.
Councilmember Sales
Aye.
and Councilmember Wu.
Aye.
Okay, carries 5-0. So the record is open until July 1st. Lynn, Lauren, Joyce, thank you all very much. Next, we will move to from the mayor and city council. And tonight we're going to start with Council Vice President Sesma.
Thank you, Mayor. Just have a few things today. I hope everybody had a wonderful, happy Father's Day weekend. I hope you were able to celebrate that all weekend. I know I was able to enjoy the presence of my my grandchildren yesterday and just generally relax. So I hope everybody had the same kind of day that I had in terms of enjoying your fatherhood and reveling in it, and remembering how important it is, the role we have as a father. Last week, the Kentlands Community Foundation Board met, and the big news is I've already shared the news about the 5K, but there's a couple of events now that things are opening up that the foundation has decided to go ahead and make live events. So the Musica Viva concert will be held on July 31st in the Kentlands. The Kentlands Under the Lights will be held on August 7th. And Kentlands Lakelands 5K will be held on September 4th. So put that information on your calendar. You can go to their Facebook page, or you can go to kentlandsfoundation.org to find more information about that and to register for the 5K. Let's see, since we last met, the big event in Gaithersburg was basically the opening of the Novavax, the new Novavax campus on between Quince Orchard Road and Firstfield Road. The governor attended, the county executive attended, a number of members of the county council, Senator Kagan from District 17 attended, and I think all of the city council were there, city manager and a number of city staff. It was really a terrific event, gave the leaders of Novavax an opportunity to announce their plans for the site, which will be the global headquarters for Novavax. And prominent in their descriptions of the site and what will happen there was the name Gaithersburg. So every time they said Novavax, they said Novavax Gaithersburg. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the governor tended to repeat that as well. So, you know, and then they had really good news last Monday when they released the results of their of the clinical trial of their COVID vaccine. And it turns out that their vaccine is about 90% effective in protecting those who have been vaccinated with that particular vaccine from serious infection or illness from the COVID, from the SARS-CoV virus. So I have a couple of other announcements. First thing I'm going to do, so is anyone in Gaithersburg who's been paying attention recently knows the city will hold an election on November 2nd for 2 council members and the mayor. And it's good to see that several people have stepped up already to run for each of these seats. In the past, some have argued about the difficulty of running against incumbents. So I'm glad to see that those who've made the decision to stand for election. I believe that if one has ideas and commitments to represent citizens of the city and to offer to them, it shouldn't matter if there are people currently serving in those seats. I've been happy to talk to some of those who have those potential candidates, and will be happy to talk to anyone else, have a conversation with anyone else who might be interested in what being a council member is all about. My only reminder to any of those individuals is that we don't have council districts in Gaithersburg. To those who expect to file as a candidate, you are running to represent and look after the common and best interests of everyone in the city, every neighborhood and every community. We all serve at large, and it's a 4-year commitment. So with all that as a preface, many of you asked me about my plans for the next election. So I'm announcing now that I do not intend to stand for re-election to the city council this fall. I will finish my 4-year, my 4th term in November, and after 16 years of representing you and using my best judgment in acting in the best interests of our city and our residents and our businesses, I think it's time to hand it off to the next person with great ideas. There will be time to discuss what we've accomplished as a council and as a city while I've served in those almost 16 years. I do want to dispel any speculation that I may be making this announcement as part of a plan to run for another office, another elective office in the county or in the state, whether it's county council, school board, or delegate. I can assure you I have no such plans. I have a great job at the National Institutes of Health that I love as much as I've loved being a council member for the city of Gaithersburg. The only elected office I've ever aspired to is the Gaithersburg City Council. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve in this position, and I intend to work hard to the end of my term and then continue to support the mayor and council and the city into the future, which is nothing but bright and promising. So I want to thank you all for listening to that announcement, and now I'll move on to another announcement I want to make that's related to what I just said. Gaithersburg residents will cast their ballots for mayor and 2 city council members on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021. Candidate packets were released on Thursday, May 6th, so they're available. You can pick them up at City Hall or access the packets on the city's election website. The second and last mandatory candidate training session will be held virtually on Tuesday, August 10th. Candidates are required to register and attend this last session if you haven't attended the first one. The deadline for candidates to file is Thursday, August 19th by 5 p.m. So you have 2 months to plan and collect those signatures. For additional information or to register for training, please contact Elections Clerk Lauren Klingler at 240-805-1087 or cityelections@gaithersburgmd.gov. For complete election information, you can go to www.gaithersburgmd.gov/elections. Thank you very much. I'm done.
Thank you, Mike. I know what a special announcement that was for you, and I'm going to resist the urge to pay tribute to you and your service at this moment, knowing that for the next few months through November, you are a full council member and you are fully invested in the decisions that we make. And so this is not over yet, but thank you. congratulations on your decision. And I'm sure I don't want to step on my own thunder later, but thank you for your service. All right, we'll go to Councilmember Spiegel. I actually I don't see Lorianne on here or Tanisha. Tanisha texted me that her power went out. I suspect, because it flickered here too, I suspect that may have impacted Lorianne as well. So we'll see if and when they come back. But for now, let's just keep going forward with the meeting. We'll go to Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm sure there will be more to say in the coming days, but I just want to briefly say to Council Vice President Sesma, whom we affectionately refer to as the Dean of the City Council, it has been an honor to serve with you for these last 14 years. As a mentor of mine, as a colleague and confidant and friend, we have traveled together for MML and National League of Cities. We have debated issues, passed a lot of important legislation, and tackled a lot of big issues. You've been a leader on so many different things, from affordable housing to environmental policy, to advocating for celebrating our city's diversity and for investing in economic opportunity for particularly those in need. And you've had a number of leading roles nationally and regionally in various organizations. And again, we'll have more to say on that, and your term is not up yet. But I just want to say thank you for your tremendous service and friendship. Best of luck in the next phase of life that will start in November. But we'll put you to work between now and then. And I hope we can always continue to turn to you and rely on you for advice and counsel even after that. And I'm sure your family, while they know and support your love for public service, will be glad to have a little bit more time with you after November. So thank you again, and I'm sure we'll have more to say in the coming weeks and months. Other than that, I don't really have much to add. Mike already talked about the wonderful Novavax event, and yet another opportunity highlighting all the good things happening in Gaithersburg. And I know that we have our Maryland Municipal League annual conference coming up in about a week. And this will be our first time coming back to a live in-person conference for some of us. And we'll be able to report back after the conference is over with hopefully some additional good information about state programs and opportunities and other legislative priorities and things that we learn and collect while we are networking at the in-person MML conference, which we will report back to you all when we return. But that's all I've got this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. We'll go to Neil.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'd also like to echo much of what Ryan said regarding our colleague, Mr. Sesma, except for the 14-year part, since I only had 6.5 years of being a colleague, but I've known you for far longer, and I've always appreciated your insights and experience and wisdom. And so look forward to the remainder of your term. And, you know, I kind of had a feeling this might be coming, but your service to the city has been remarkable and much appreciated by one and all. I have a bit of a lengthier presentation tonight than I normally would have, so I hope you will forgive me for being a little bit wordy. As you know, I'm the city's representative on the Transportation Planning Board at the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments. You may have heard me talk about that once or twice in the last 6 years. There was a very eventful meeting at the Transportation Planning Board last week. Let me give you a little bit of background. Every 2 years, the TPB has to update the region's 25-year long-range plan for transportation projects for the region. And part of that plan is an update of the air quality conformity analysis, where the TPB staff determines the impact of transportation on the region's ability to meet its air quality goals. As you probably know, the transportation sector is one of the largest contributors to carbon and other emissions. In fact, in our region, transportation is the second biggest contributor to air quality issues, only behind the impact of our buildings in the region. And as you may have noticed, our region's highways are among the very most crowded and congested in our country. One project in the long-range plan is the Maryland Department of Transportation's project to redo the American Legion Bridge and to add lanes to the Beltway up and from the bridge to I-270 and from I-270 north to I-370. That project would use private funding to take advantage of our current historically low interest rates, and the project was intended to provide reduced congestion on a key stretch of highway. Now, at the very last minute or very close to it, Montgomery County's government asked the board to remove from that analysis that plan. And after a close vote, the project was removed from the analysis. So the TPP did not want to determine if the highway project was an issue for our region's air quality. Our county and our region did not want to know one way or another. The consequence of that vote is this: without the conformity analysis, the federal government would not issue the permits required to proceed with the project. And I have to tell you, this is not the first time that our county attempted to remove a project that was ready to be studied. And personally, as someone that always wants to see the data, it's always my position that it's better to analyze a project in order to have enough information to make an informed choice. So I have to say at this point, I'm very disappointed that many of our counties and our region's politicians made the choice that they would rather not know what the impact of this or any other proposed project would be. And that is my statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. We'll go to Councilmember Sales.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to read an announcement before my comments from the council. Let me just pull this up. Okay. So notice to the general public is hereby given that the mayor and city council of Gaithersburg plan to conduct a closed executive session virtually by teleconference online immediately following its session on Monday, June 21st, 2021. The meeting is proposed to be closed.
Lori, and that's actually, you're jumping the gun on that. That's the one for tonight, because we need to do the executive session for tonight. But if you want to turn that one into a motion to hold that executive session, we can do that. But I also, if you wouldn't mind, would love it if you'd read the after closed executive session message too.
Okay, at the after. So do you want me to make a motion or?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and make a motion for tonight's executive session.
Okay, so Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for the closed executive session this evening.
Okay, just do me a favor. Just read you got to read the justification for it. The Maryland provisions and all that.
So do you want me to read the entire page of the closed executive session or the cover page?
I'll tell you what, you make the motion that we will and then start with virtually that the mayor and council virtually by teleconference.
Okay.
Just
All
start
right.
there.
Okay. So Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to have a virtual closed executive session virtually by teleconference online immediately following this evening's session, Monday, June 21st, 2021. The meeting, keep going. The meeting is proposed to be closed pursuant to the general provisions article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Section 3-305B1I, the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom it has jurisdiction. The topic to be discussed is a personnel matter to conduct the city attorney's annual review. The closed executive session will be held pursuant to a motion properly adopted during the session of the mayor and city council on Monday, June 21st, 2021.
All right, so we have a motion, Ryan.
Second.
Okay, I'll call the roll. All in favor say aye, and opposed say nay. Councilmember Spiegel.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Council Vice President Sesma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sales.
Aye.
And Councilmember Wu.
Aye.
Okay, so we will have that executive session after this. Now, Lorianne, let me go right back to you for the read and for your announcements.
Okay. Do you want me to read something else?
Yeah, the after the one, it's on packet page 34, the after closed executive session.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. After closed executive session, a closed executive session was held virtually by the Mayor and City Council on Monday, June 14th, 2021 at approximately 9:22 p.m. pursuant to a motion adopted unanimously. The meeting was proposed to be closed pursuant to the general provisions article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Section 3-305 B1I, the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom it has jurisdiction. The topic discussed was a personnel matter to conduct the city attorney's annual review. Present at the meeting were Mayor Ashman, council members Harris, Sales, Sesma, Spiegel, and Wu. Upon conclusion of the discussion, the closed meeting was adjourned at approximately 9:52 p.m. All right, okay, thank you. Okay, so just a few updates. I had some technical difficulties. I lost power, so I hope I'm not repeating myself too much, but I just want to echo the congratulations that were shared earlier to our community services team and Mary Shell. Can't say enough good things about our department and Mary Shell, who is always awesome at welcoming people into the mayor and council, into City Hall. Congrats to our incoming and outgoing junior mayors. You know, the mayor already spoke about how incredible this program is with empowering our young people and giving them really cool projects to tackle during their year. So looking forward to spending time with a beer during this year. Last week, I joined a couple of our community leaders from across the state for a Project Citizen judging contest. It was hosted by the Northwest High School in Germantown. It was their AP government students who participated in a Center for Civic Education program. They were researching and proposing public policy topics and worked together in groups to talk about a variety of topics. And they invited elected officials to come in and judge the projects that were selected and to also provide feedback. Some of the policy issues that they discussed was workforce development, a living wage, among other topics of discussion. So really glad that our teachers are thinking outside of the box to engage our students in real world issues. So happy to join them. Also last week, Rebuilding Together Montgomery County, one of our local nonprofits, celebrated their 30th anniversary. The Rebuilding Together Montgomery County, they provide free home repairs, energy efficiency upgrades, and accessibility modifications for some of our most vulnerable residents, including seniors, veterans, persons with disabilities, and families with children, all living in low-income households. And all of these services are provided at no cost to low-income homeowners in our county. I think I heard the mention of Novavax, so welcome to Novavax. We're so happy that we are growing our biotech corridor, so really excited to see what happens with their new vaccine that will be coming to market soon. And hopefully everyone had a wonderful time celebrating the inaugural celebration of Juneteenth holiday, and continuing to celebrate Pride Month. And I hope everyone enjoyed a happy Father's Day. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorianne. We'll go to Rob Wu.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'll just say ditto on all that. And a particular ditto with respect to my colleague, Council Vice President Sesma. It's been great serving with you. We still got time left to enjoy each other's company, and I look forward to it. And perhaps we'll have a beer later.
All right. Let the record show there was a thumbs up from Mike, so it sounds like that might be in the offing. I will note that first off, I will just associate myself with all of the comments from the council members and echo everything and not repeat anything. I will note that next week we do not have a work session, as Ryan mentioned. We have Maryland Municipal League convention next week, so most of us will be out there, and the next regular meeting will be on Tuesday, July 6th. Tuesday because of the recognition of the July 4th holiday on the Monday, and it will be on Zoom, just so you can consume it just the same way that you're consuming this meeting. And with that, we have our closed executive session motion. We will go to from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Not much this evening, except I want to mention that we do have events planned, both virtual and in person, for what we're calling Red, White, and Blue Weekend next weekend. So we encourage the community to come out and participate. Take a look at our website. We have events for everyone, children with tasty books. We've got movies at the mansion. We've got some cooking demonstrations that play up the theme of red, white, and blueberry. We'll also be unveiling the skate park mural display. We hope that people will come out to see that this Saturday, and of course, enjoy mini golf and the water park while they're at it. So just want everyone to know that while we won't have fireworks for this 4th of July, we do have events planned, both in person and virtual. We hope you participate. And then we hope you come out and participate with us for a special Labor Day celebration where we will have fireworks coming up later in September. And I would just like to say, I think it's interesting, Mike, Vice President Sesma, I think it's interesting that the power went out just as you were making that announcement on my end. I think Lorianne maybe lost power at the same time. Not really sure what that means. I took it as perhaps you should stay a little bit longer since I just got here. I have really enjoyed working with you thus far, and I appreciate your insight and your willingness always to share your perspective as well as history on where we've been and where you'd like us to head, and look forward to continuing to work with you each day and until you leave us in this capacity. But I don't think you're going too far anytime soon. So hopefully you'll still take my call. And that's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanisha. Next, we'll tech team, if you can bring up Tom Lonergan, and we can move to our economic development update.
And while Tom's coming in, I'd like to say that I also lost power, but didn't drop offline. And I have 2 words for those of you who lost power: battery backup.
Thank you, Neil. Tom, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. 2 items for all of you tonight. The 748 unit Gateway apartment complex at 925 Clopper Road has a new owner, Bridge Investment Group, based in Salt Lake City, recently paid $157 million, or about $210,000 a unit, for the complex. Seller Harbor Group International had owned it for about 5 years. They paid around $108.5 million for the property back in 2015. Complex is what we would characterize as naturally occurring affordable housing, meaning their rents are relatively low compared to the regional housing market, but are unsubsidized by any federal programs. And while Luis Kaufman and I have not yet met with Bridge Investment Group to discuss the transaction, the placement of the Gateway in its workforce and affordable housing strategy on the company's website does suggest that Bridge aims to preserve the affordable rents while still providing attractive market returns for investors. We hope to connect with representatives from Bridge soon to discuss the sale and any plans that they might have for the property. Secondly, and finally, Mr. Mayor, I wanted to mention Novavax's plans to significantly grow their footprint and headcount here in Gaithersburg is a wonderful reminder not only of the city's appeal for the life science sector, but of the confidence that the city decision makers, including all of you and our planning commissioners, have had in Gaithersburg as a regional hub for the biotech industry. The opportunity for Novavax to stay and grow in Gaithersburg was ours in no small part because of decisions made by city leaders to protect and preserve sites such as 700 Quince Orchard Road and 14 First Field for employment uses. Similarly, nearly 500,000 square feet of flex space will soon be under construction at 700 North Frederick Avenue to support demand from a variety of industries, including biotech, thanks to an insistence by city leaders that the site be developed to support a mix of uses. And while the development and brokerage communities are recognizing and beginning to respond to the strong demand by the life science industry here in Gaithersburg, an industry with healthy demand coupled with an insufficient inventory of space to house these companies does have consequences. In mid-May, MaxCyte, a longtime member of Gaithersburg biotech community and leading provider of cell engineering platform technologies, did announce plans for an initial public offering, marking a new stage in the life of the company and bringing significant investment and growth. Regrettably, MaxCyte's facility expansion will not be here in Gaithersburg. Last week, the company did announce the signing of a lease at Key West Boulevard in unincorporated Rockville for 67,000 square feet and vacate around 7,700 square feet at 22 First Field. In short, the city lacked a facility that could meet MaxCyte's size and price requirements. Thankfully, the space the company is vacating on First Field Road won't be vacant for long, as it will actually be occupied by Novavax. With vacancy rates for life science space now hovering in the low single digits and vigorous demand in our market, economic development staff will continue its efforts to bring more inventory into our city, not only to attract and house new companies looking to join our flourishing biotech industry, but to help ensure that our existing companies looking to grow need not look beyond our municipal boundaries any longer. We look forward to continuing our work with each of you towards that end. That's all I have tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Tom. It's an interesting and exhilarating challenge to have this much demand here is wonderful, but we need to be cognizant of it and opportunities to serve that demand as we can. So appreciate those remarks.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we're going to move on to ordinances, resolutions, and regulations. And tech team, if you could bring up Pete Cottrell, please, who I understand had lost power and has gone through his own sort of epic journey to still be here at this meeting. And Rick Rolls, welcome, Rick. Pete, go right ahead.
Thank you. I was happy I was able to get into work before my turn was called.
Yeah, we're grateful that you made all that effort. If worst came to worst, I mean, Rick we could have gotten through it with Rick, and I think we all understand what's before us here, but we really appreciate your efforts.
Well, thank you. Good evening. This is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council authorizing the purchase of Microsoft software licenses, subscriptions, and maintenance. With me tonight is Rick Rolls, a senior network operations specialist who's put in a lot of time over the past year evaluating the city's needs and examining the various Microsoft licensing and pricing options. Last September, we came before you for approval for the city to enter into a new 3-year enterprise agreement with Microsoft for the purchase and maintenance of operating system software on desktop and server computers, as well as for additional software products such as the Office suite of programs. That agreement provides for product updates and simplifies administration by allowing the city to add new licenses on an annual basis to maintain license compliancy. At that time, we mentioned our plans to move city users to the Microsoft 365 platform in fiscal year 2022, and said that we would be coming back before you for an updated resolution to provide for additional expenditures in years 2 and 3 of the enterprise agreement. This resolution increases the annual not to exceed amount from $105,000 to $210,000. This will allow for migration to the Microsoft 365 platform, which includes existing products such as Microsoft Office and the Windows operating system, as well as access to new products such as Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Intune. This will provide the city with enhanced collaboration and remote work capabilities and is in alignment with Microsoft's strategic direction. The increase in cost is due to the increased functionality and a change in Microsoft's licensing model. The city's current premise-based products largely operate under a per-device licensing model. Microsoft 365 is licensed on a per-user subscription model. As a result, instead of licensing every city computer, we're now procuring a subscription for every city computer user. Each user, based on their specific needs, will be assigned either a Microsoft 365 G3 subscription or a less expensive F3 subscription. In addition, each user will be assigned an Azure Active Directory P2 subscription, which provides for enhanced security capabilities. While the general number of subscriptions needed is known, the exact quantity and levels are still being finalized. The not to exceed amount has been derived from what staff believe is the maximum cost. The city will purchase subscriptions on an as needed basis as we migrate users later this calendar year. The annual cost for this agreement will not exceed $210,000. Available funds were approved in the operating budget for fiscal year 2022 and in the Technology Capital Improvements Fund. Funds anticipated to be spent in FY23 are subject to budgeting and appropriation. That concludes my presentation of the proposed resolution. May I answer any questions?
Thank you very much, Pete. Do we have questions or comments? Rob, with the background sometimes interferes with my ability to see your hand.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, that's why I have to move it around because I can't see it either. Thank you. And thank you, Peter, for the presentation. Just a quick question. So 365 and Azure, that means cloud, right?
It does.
Okay. So we're moving offsite into the cloud under this model?
It's a hybrid. We're going to move our mail system into the cloud, but many of the servers are still running on site, and they have Windows operating system licenses on them. But increasingly, the model is to move to cloud-based services, which have fewer on-premise servers.
Okay, understood. And I understand that's the direction that these companies are going. But do we have a off-ramp for our data and for everything else, should we decide at a later date to move on to a different platform?
I'm trying to clarify in my mind what you mean by an off-ramp.
Oh, okay. So, all of our data moves offsite and into the Microsoft cloud. It's proprietary cloud system. Should we, at a later date, choose no longer to purchase or procure Microsoft licenses and move to whatever other competition there is out there, do we have a plan in place and cost models for doing that?
Well, the alternative would be the big alternative is Amazon Web Services. I don't think we've looked at Amazon prices yet. I will say at this point, we're not moving most of our storage offsite into the Azure cloud. Most of our storage is staying on site. It's just for specific services that are moving offsite, such as our email and some of our major applications.
Okay.
So we're still on premise right now.
Okay, except for some of the systems. I would just encourage, I'd be more interested in, the conversation doesn't have to occur here, in thoughts that have been given to unwinding this, should we choose to unwind it in the years or decades to come, and how that impacts our data, what the costs are, and things like that. But thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Any other comments or questions, or if someone wants to move the resolution? Brian.
Yeah, I mean, Rob kind of beat me to the punch, and I realize this is a bit beyond the scope of this particular resolution, because this is really just about this fiscal year investment. And obviously, in the short term, we're not looking to completely move our systems to a competitor, which is a major investment that requires a lot of research and consideration. But it's still something sort of for the long run I was kind of curious about too. I know that this licensing agreement runs through FY23, so we've got some time, and I'm sure staff and Pete's team are, going to be, as we get closer to the end of FY23 and the out years, thinking about what makes the most sense. I know for a lot of reasons, Microsoft is the sort of big default player for a lot of enterprise systems and office environments, but as the marketplace evolves very rapidly, we might want to see what else is out there in a few years, and what makes the most sense in terms of security, storage, usability of the different products that are out there. But we can cross that bridge when we get to it. But Rob kind of raised the same issue I was raising in a slightly different way. So with that, I'm happy to move the resolution.
Neil.
I second the resolution.
Okay. I will call the roll. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Councilmember Spiegel.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Council Vice President Sesma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sales.
Aye.
And Councilmember Wu.
Aye.
All right, carries 5-0. Pete and Rick, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, tech team, if you could bring up Sean Stevens, please, and we'll talk about the contract to purchase 2 utility trucks.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. The resolution I bring before you tonight is to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract to purchase 2 utility body trucks. Units 2416 and 2417 are 2012 Chevrolet utility body trucks and have reached the end of their useful service life. Due to their age, condition, and reliability, these units need to be replaced. These vehicles were scheduled for replacement in the FY21 budget. Once the replacement vehicles, a 2022 Ford F-350 crew cab utility body truck with lift gate and snowplow, and a 2022 Ford F-350 regular cab utility body truck with snowplow and in-bed salter are ready for service. Unit numbers 2416 and 2417 will be sold at public auction. On April 23rd, 2021, a solicitation for the purchase of 2 utility body trucks was advertised on the city website and in an issue of eMaryland Marketplace. 4 companies responded to the solicitation, and the bids were opened and tabulated on May 21st, 2021. Staff recommends award to the lowest responsive bidder, Apple Ford Incorporated, in the amount of $125,013. There are sufficient funds in the asset replacement fund. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you, Sean, and also welcome, Mark. Do we have any questions or comments, council members, or would someone like to move the resolution? Mike.
Well, since I probably voted for the resolution in 2012 that allowed us to purchase these the vehicles to be replaced, I'll move this one.
Okay, Neil.
Second the motion.
All right, I will call the roll. Councilmember Spiegel.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Council Vice President Sesma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sales.
Aye.
Councilmember Wu.
I'm going to vote aye, but just a small caveat. This, in my mind, might be a good example of a time when we have a local preference for a local company. I don't know how we build that into our procurement procedures, but I think Criswell is only 3,000 more and they're a local company. Aye.
Okay, thank you, Rob. 8 carries 5-0, and you've given Tanisha food for thought there with procurement policy. So let me thank you, Sean and Mark. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Next, tech team, if you could bring up Louise Kaufman, please. That would be great. Our Housing and Community Development Chief. And Louise, did you want to introduce a new employee tonight?
She wasn't able to get on tonight. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Go right ahead.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'm bringing before you a resolution to approve FY22 Community Development Block Grant funding. I do have a PowerPoint. Tech team, can you bring that up? Thank you, Chris. So this is FY22 CDBG funding proposals. So funding would be in effect July 1st. Next, please. As you all know, that the HUD Community Development Block Grant Program is very flexible in how it's used. There are very few prohibitions as long as you follow the rules, and there are many rules. You can pretty much spend the money in whatever way meets your objectives that support your low and moderate income households. So the city is getting $459,000, give or take, this year. As you may remember, we received CDBG CV money this year, COVID money, to prepare for and respond to the pandemic. And that award was for $648,000. So we have a lot of CDBG money that we're trying to spend right now. Next slide, please. So as I said, there is flexibility in the program, and there is flexibility in how you allocate your money. So we do have a new program that we're going to be funding this year. It's the Homeowner Rehab Code Enforcement Project, our ongoing mortgage, rent, utility assistance program, our home buyer assistance loan program, and then we have funds that support the staff to do the work on this program because it is quite staff intensive. Next slide, please. So for the homeowner rehab program, I did bring this to your attention in a work session earlier, and you did support it. The city of Rockville has this program. Montgomery County used to have this program, but they stopped funding it. And it's to use CDBG funds to allow income eligible owners of their properties. They have to live in the unit. It has to be their only unit. And it supports things like roof replacement, HVAC upgrades, accessibility improvements, code. You know, if the homeowner gets a citation from our code enforcement people to address some code deficiencies, we can step in and use CDBG funds. The way that we are structuring it is that it's forgiven after 5 years. You have to live and own that property for the entire 5 years. And at the end of that, we will release the lien on the note. So next, please. So the housing assistance under the CARES Act, the cap on public service was eliminated, which allowed us to set aside a significant amount of our CDBG funds to help low-income renters stay in their homes as a result of the loss of their job, underemployment, having to stay home with their children, whatever. That was allowed in the COVID CDBG CV funds and in FY21 CDBG funds. But HUD did not, the Congress did not allow for that in FY22. So that 15% cap is back on. So that means that we only have about $69,000 to help people who are sort of getting out of COVID stay in their homes. So it can be used for short-term rent, utility, and mortgage assistance. It's hardly ever used for mortgage assistance, but it is allowed. So I always try and reserve some funds for that. And as you know, we have a pretty large population of renters who are at or below 50% of AMI. So these tenants have used these funds for many years. So this is just kind of bring it back down to the 15% cap that Congress imposes on this type of emergency assistance. Next slide, please. So as you know, we have a very popular and successful down payment and closing cost assistance loan program for, again, CDBG funds those buyers who meet the CDBG rules. We use HIF funds and city funds and loan repayments for the other buyers. So in a typical year, we have about 40 buyers. Last year was not a typical year, and I don't know what this coming year will look like, but we generally try and put about $200,000 and $225,000 into this program to encourage homeownership among our low-income first-time home buyers. Next, please. And as I said, this is a pretty labor-intensive program. There's a lot of reporting that HUD requires. There's a lot of documentation that they want to see in your files. So we do set aside the full 20% that HUD allows us for planning and admin. So next, please. So if you vote to approve the resolution tonight, then I will finalize the action plan that's part of our 5-year consolidated plan, put it out for 30-day public comment period as HUD requires. Any comments are incorporated into the plan, and it goes to HUD, and when HUD signs it, Tanisha signs it, and we start spending the money. Next, please. So any questions?
Thanks for the presentation, Louise. Tech team, if you want, thank you. Any questions or comments on the resolution? If not, would someone like to move the resolution? This all seems it all makes sense. So I saw Neil's hand go first, and then Lorianne. Neil, go ahead.
I'd like to move the resolution.
Okay, Lorianne.
Second.
Okay, I will call the roll. Councilmember Spiegel.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Council Vice President Sesma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sales.
Aye.
And Councilmember Wu.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Louise, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tech team, if we can bring up Kim Yocklin, please. Kim and Lynn are going to lead us in an introduction having to do with mayor and council salaries. Welcome, Kim.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This item is to introduce 2 resolutions amending sections 5 and 16 of the city charter to amend salary and benefit provisions for the mayor and city council following recommendations by the ad hoc mayor and city council compensation committee review committee. Section 5A of the charter provides for the appointment of a compensation review committee every 4 years to review the compensation and benefits of the mayor and council, as well as the stipend afforded to members of other appointed bodies, and provide recommendations whether adjustments should be made. The committee was appointed on November 16th, 2020, and presented its report to the mayor and council on March 15th, 2021. The resolutions before you reflect the committee's recommendations to amend the mechanism for adjustment to the salary and benefits of the mayor and city council effective July 1, 2022, and an adjustment to the annual benefit stipend on July 1, 2022, and every 4th year thereafter. These charter amendments provide for an annual salary increase for the mayor and city council beginning July 1, 2022, equal to the consumer price index for the Washington metropolitan region as established in a November report each year, plus 1%. They also provide that funds received by the mayor and city council for the sole purpose of purchasing city benefits will be adjusted on July 1, 2022, and on July 1st, every 4th year thereafter by $500, or the average percentage increase of medical insurance premiums for non-Medicare eligible city employees during the previous 4-year period, whichever is less. The resolution also provides that the mayor and city council have the option to take any of those funds not expended for benefits as salary or as a contribution to their 457 retirement plan. Staff recommends that the mayor and city council provide separate votes to introduce the proposed charter amendments and notify the public that a consolidated public hearing will be scheduled for Monday, July 19th, 2021. That's all I have.
Thank you, Kim. So we'll do this as 2 separate motions, but do we have any questions or comments from the council first before we get to that? Okay, not seeing any. Then let's take these separately. So first we have the section, the motion will be to introduce the amendment to section 5 of the charter. Neil.
I would like to move the resolution to amend section 5 of the city charter relating to.
Well, this is a motion to introduce.
To introduce the, yes, I'm sorry, I meant to say that. I would like to move to introduce the resolution for section 5 of the city charter so as to amend the benefits of the members of the city council.
Great, Mike.
Second.
Okay, I'll call the roll. Councilmember Spiegel.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Council Vice President Sesma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sales.
Aye.
And Councilmember Wu.
Aye.
Okay, so that one is introduced, and then we have the section 16 introduction. What is the pleasure of the council? Mike.
I'll move the resolution introducing amendment to section 16 of the city charter so as to amend the salary and benefits of the mayor.
Okay, we have a second. Neil.
Second.
Okay, I'll call the roll. Councilmember Spiegel.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Council Vice President Sesma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sales.
Aye.
And Councilmember Wu.
Aye.
All right, they are introduced. Kim, thank you very much. Next on our agenda is from the city attorney.
I have no additional comments this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, for any other staff still here, if you just want to raise your hand, I'll call on you. Not seeing anything from any other staff. Okay, well then, as we mentioned, the next week we do not have a work session because most of us will be over at the Maryland Municipal League Convention. The next regular meeting of Mayor and Council will be on Tuesday, July 6th. And until next time, we wish everyone a wonderful, happy July 4th. And let's do great things, Gaithersburg. We are adjourned.